brilliant human mind has invented tools, technology, and comforts to improve our lives and live together in harmony. But what if that same mind was forced to create tools for only one purpose, exterminating other humans? One of the largest genocidal events in human history, the First World War, became the very crucible in which weapons of terrifying power were born. World War I began in 1914, sparked by a seemingly small event, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary. Yet this single bullet ignited a continent already soaked in political tensions, economic rivalries, and imperial ambitions. What followed was a war unlike anything the world had ever seen. A war that would change how we kill, reshape the battlefield, and alter the very course of human civilization. And today I will show you the real villains of this mass extermination. The weapons of war, cold, mechanical killers forged by human hands to destroy other humans. 1. M2 Browning machine gun, the Death Mother. Although the M2 Browning entered service toward the end of World War I, it was born from the very lessons of that war. Designed by John Browning, a genius engineer, the M2 was built to pierce armor, destroy aircraft, and kill with precision from terrifying distances. Its mission? To be unstoppable. And it was. Nicknamed Ma Deuce, it sounded almost affectionate, but on the front lines, it was known as the Mother of Death. It was mounted on everything: tanks, jeeps, aircraft, battleships, anywhere death needed delivery. Its .50 caliber, 12.7 millimeter rounds could rip through walls, vehicles, aircraft, and bodies. When fired at human targets, it didn't just injure, it obliterated. Limbs torn apart, heads vaporized. Survivors recounted being unable to recognize their comrades, reduced to scattered flesh. Many soldiers refused to use it on humans, believing it was simply too brutal. And yet, its sound alone could terrify enemy soldiers miles away. Even though it began late in World War I, the M2 became a mainstay in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and beyond. A machine of war that has survived over a century. 2. Artillery, king of the battlefield. In World War I, artillery reigned supreme. It didn't require pinpoint accuracy, just enough shells to saturate the sky and flatten the earth. A single shell, often weighing dozens of kilograms, would explode with enough force to turn everything nearby into bloody mist. Hundreds of steel shards would pierce the air, embedding in bodies like iron rain. Those too close often died without visible wounds, their organs liquefied from sheer pressure. Many soldiers never even heard the shell that killed them. Artillery moved faster than sound. You don't know you're dead, they said, because by the time you hear it, you already are. In battles like Verdun, over 60 million shells were fired. The result? Cratered wastelands, constant shell shock, early PTSD, and 60 to 70% of battlefield deaths. Artillery wasn't about skill, it was about overwhelming force, to rain enough fire so nothing could breathe again. Three, flamethrower. Fire made flesh. Flamethrowers weren't new. Fire has been a weapon for millennia, but it was Germany who reintroduced it with terrifying effectiveness. Worn like a backpack, filled with thick fuel, the flamethrower could shoot jets of fire 20 to 30 meters ahead. It wasn't built for efficiency, but for terror. A flame over 1,000 degrees Celsius would melt flesh, burn through muscle, and consume the body alive. Soldiers who weren't instantly killed often ran, screaming, burning, collapsing. In bunkers or trenches, the fire would snake its way inside, leaving no escape. Even survivors bore permanent scars, burned skin, melted eyes, broken minds. Some soldiers shot themselves rather than face a flamethrower. In places like the Pacific War, Japanese soldiers feared it more than bullets. Though not the deadliest weapon, it was the most feared. Flamethrowers didn't just burn bodies, they scorched the human soul. 4. Mustard gas. The silent agony sulfur mustard, or mustard gas, was introduced by Germany in 1917. A thick, yellow-brown liquid, it evaporated into a colorless, almost undetectable vapor. It didn't kill instantly. Instead, it tortured, slowly. It seeped through clothes and skin, creating massive blisters, open sores, blindness, and horrific damage to the lungs. Victims coughed up blood, choked for days, and died slowly in field hospitals. Even worse, the gas remained active in soil for days. Even after the battle ended, it still killed. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a poisonous curse on the land itself. 5. Tank Mark I. The Iron Monster. At the start of the war, both sides were locked in trench warfare, a bloody stalemate stretching hundreds of kilometers. To break the deadlock, Britain unveiled a monster in 1916. The Mark I tank, the first tank in history. It looked like an iron boat on land, weighed 28 tons, crew, 8 men, armed with Vickers machine guns and 6-pounder cannons. Armor, 6 to 12 millimeters thick. Top speed, just 6 kilometers per hour. It was slow, noisy, and unreliable. But to those in the trenches, it was unstoppable. Bullets bounced off. Its treads crushed barbed wire and bodies alike. Even with all its flaws, it changed the entire nature of warfare, from stationary to mobile, from trench-bound to mechanized assault. World War I was not just a war between soldiers. It was a laboratory, a testing ground where humanity unleashed machines upon itself, machine guns that never stopped firing, artillery that shattered the earth, gas that stole your breath, tanks that crushed steel and soul alike. These were not tools. They were monsters, created by human hands, given life by human intellect, and unleashed against our own kind, for victory, or maybe, to remind us that when man chooses intellect over empathy, what follows is hell on earth.